Welcome, folks, to yet another stimulating set of notes on the topic of biology. Today's topic is classification. How scientists group things together. Why? Does it make sense? Doesn't it? Or discuss it all. So, here's your title. Classification. How do scientists group living organisms? That's the key. Move myself over here so you can see it. So the study of classification is called taxonomy. All right, it's a vocab term you're going to need to know, so make sure you get that one down. All right, biologists classify organisms based on shared characteristics, meaning things that look similar, whether it be traits or whether it be where they live or some similar habitat. Those would be all classified organisms on similar characteristics. This person named Carolus Linnaeus was a man. His name's Carl von Linne is what he actually went by. In some other textbooks you'll see that. He's known as the father of taxonomy, and the dates that he was alive are right there. There are 7 levels of classification, each one more specific than the last, so that you'll see that there'll be a lot of things, organisms grouped into the first part, which is kingdom, and as we get all the way down to the bottom, which is species, it gets very, very specific. So here they are: kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. Kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. And I'll show you mnemonic to remember that in a little bit. Okay, so here's an example. Let's classify the wolf. Awesome animal. If you haven't seen a wolf before, you're about to see one. Boom. There's a pack of them. All right, so let's classify the wolf. Kingdom, animal kingdom. They're obviously animals, right? We know they're animals. Phylum, chordates or chordata. That means they have a backbone. Class, mammals. Birth to live young. Mammary glands, milk. Order, carnivores. Eat meat. Family, canids. That's something about their teeth. Genus, Canis. Species, Lupus. So their scientific name is Canis lupus. And bam! Bam! There's the wolf, baby. Don't mess with that thing. As we continue on here, let me move myself over here. Classification of wolves versus humans. All right, look. We're both in the animal kingdom. We're both in the chordate phylum. We're both mammals. Order, carnivores. We're primates. Family, canids, hominid. Genus, Canis, we're Homo. And then species, Lupus, sapiens. So our scientific name is Homo sapiens, and theirs is Canis lupus. But the point of this is, look how closely we're related through the first 3. And as we get down further, it gets more specific, like I mentioned before. All right, taxonomy mnemonic. Here you go. Here's how you can remember kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. For kingdom, use kings. Play for phylum. Chess. On. Fuzzy. Green. Stools. Boom, there they are. Playing chess. Or you can use the one I learned when I was younger. Kathy poured coffee over Fred's green soup. No idea, but that's another one you can use. Okay, so here are the 6 kingdoms that we classify all organisms into. Kingdom 1, animals. Boom, picture a lion. Us, any animal you're thinking of, your dog, your cat, all belong in the animal kingdom. 2, plant kingdom. Beautiful flower there. 3, fungi. I like to call that my kingdom because I'm a fun guy. No? Not funny? All right. 4, protista. 5, eubacteria, which is an E. coli would be an example. And 6, archaebacteria, extremophiles. Now this is in the deep ocean vent, so they live in extreme conditions. Sometimes these 2 here could be combined into what's called the Monera kingdom if you see an older textbook. So as a recap, here are the 6 kingdom system. Bacteria, archaebacteria, protista, fungi, plantae, and animals. Yes, an earthworm is an animal. This little white line here, here's a cool fact for you, might be a bonus question somewhere, is called a clitellum. The clitellum is responsible for reproduction in the worm. Pretty cool little fact. All right, so why do we have to have classification? What's the reasons for it? Well, reason one is to reduce confusion and loss of scientific accuracy. You have to have scientific names so all scientists and all people can call it something. To have consistency in how we refer to an organism. For example, without consistency, the European wolf will be called a variety of names. It's a wolf in English, it's lobo in Spanish, and loup in French. So without Canis lupus, no one may know what you're talking about. So it's really important to use scientific terminology when naming an organism. How are the wide variety of organisms grouped into kingdoms? What do they use to group them? They don't just throw them on a board and say, okay, here we go. You guys there, you over here. All right, let's see what they use here. One is cell type. Is it simple or complex? Two, their means of obtaining energy. How do they get food? Three, the number of cells in their body. Those three things are key in determining which kingdom they belong to. Okay, so cell type. What kind of cells are there? What types of cells are there? One is called a prokaryote. All right, prokaryote cells lack a nucleus and other membrane-bound organelles. You must know these terms. We all know how to say DNA now, that it stands for deoxyribonucleic acid. This is another one of those terms that I can ask you at any time. What is a prokaryote? It's a cell that lacks a nucleus. Organelles are the little organs that are inside the cell, like your mitochondria. We'll talk about those a little bit later on. Membranes a thin covering. Prokaryotes are unicellular, mostly. Earliest form of life. The opposite of a prokaryote is a eukaryote. You are a eukaryote. Complex cells with nucleus and other membrane-bound organelles. Eukaryotes are unicellular or multicellular. Compare the prokaryote and eukaryotic cells below. All right, so you're going to get two pictures here. And here they are. This is a prokaryote over here. You'll see that DNA is in the middle, and we all know what it stands for. Go ahead, say it. I don't know if you got it right. Can't hear you. But it's deoxyribonucleic acid. DNA is here. Flagellum is here. Now look at this one over here. Okay, the eukaryote example. Much more detailed. Nucleus on the inside. No nucleus here. Membrane around it. No membrane around the nucleus here because there isn't one. Right? Lots of different stuff on the inside. Chloroplast, mitochondria, vacuole, stigma. Not much going on over there. Prokaryote, eukaryote. Okay, now to their means of obtaining energy. You've got the autotrophs, which are self-feeders. They create their own food. I don't mean you in the kitchen cooking up some eggs, making your own food. That's not what I mean. They literally make their own food through photosynthesis. For example, if you were a plant, go outside, be like, okay, I'm full, as you get it from the sun. That's not us, okay? Heterotrophs, eaters of others. That's definitely us. Humans eat everything else. Organisms that eat other organisms. They consume food for energy, form of calories for us. Okay, number three, the number of cells that form their body. Unicellular means that there is one cell or single-celled. They are the simplest forms of life. Multicellular are the more complex forms and are made of many, many, many cells. And if you're talking about humans, we are made of trillions upon trillions of cells. Here are the 6 kingdoms in kind of a color form pattern here. Plant, they are multicellular and eukaryotic. Animal, multicellular and eukaryotic. Fungi, multicellular eukaryotic. Look, all those are up top here. Protist, eukaryotic, unicellular, and multicellular. Eubacteria, unicellular and prokaryotic. Archaebacteria, unicellular and prokaryotic. Okay, the last thing we're going to talk about is something called binomial nomenclature. The bi means two, nomial is name, two-name system. Okay, binomial nomenclature. Every organism can be identified with 2 Latin words, a genus and a species. And remember, we did ours already. Ours is Homo sapien. And we did the wolf already. It was Canis lupus. So rules for binomial nomenclature. How are you going to write them out? Because you will have to write them out at some point. Both the genus and species names are written in italics or underlined. I don't expect you to write in italics. I suggest that you underline them. The first letter of the genus is always capitalized. The species name is lowercase. So here's an example. Canis familiaris. That's the common dog, household dog, the one you got in your house now, like my terrible animal Deacon. Canis familiaris. And Felis domesticus, common cat. So you'll notice capitalized lowercase. They wrote them, we have this example as italicized, but they could also be underlined. All right, well, that's it for now. Come on back into class and we'll discuss what we learned today. Take care.